Welcome into the third episode of the PuntCast from KohlsNews.com. I am Dan Tracy. We took a brief hiatus from puntcasting here on the site for a few months, but we are back. Excited to bring you a series of puntcasts over the next 6 weeks as we preview the NFL draft with the top prospects in the upcoming draft that are utilizing Kohl's kicking as they prepare to transition from college to the professional ranks. Up first on today's PuntCast are a pair of teammates that you could argue were the best kicker-punter duo in the nation last season on one of the nation's best teams. Kicker Cody Parkey and punter Stephen Clark helped the Auburn Tigers rebound from a 3-9 season in 2012 to win the SEC championship and come one drive short of winning the national championship this past season. Both have been busy training this offseason, with Parkey in the Senior Bowl and Clark in the East-West Shrine Game and at the NFL Combine in February. My first guest played his high school ball at Jupiter High School in Florida. He participated in the 2010 Under Armour All-American game and followed up his successful high school career with 4 years as an Auburn Tiger. In those 4 years, he made a name for himself as one of the top kickers in the country, leading the nation this past season with 69 touchbacks as Auburn made its way all the way to Pasadena in the national championship. I'm pleased to be joined by now former Auburn kicker and 2014 NFL draft prospect Cody Parkey. Cody, how's it going?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Cody, I want to start by discussing your senior season at Auburn. I mean, it was such a magical year for the team and for you individually, leading the nation in touchbacks. You guys made it to the national title in kind of an unsuspected way. What specific things are you going to take away from your senior year, both individually and as a member of a pretty great team, as you transition into the next phase of your career?
So many good things happened for us this year. All the chips fell into our plays, and obviously the year before we went 3-9, so we had that beer taste in our mouth, and it got everyone just saying, you could definitely see a difference in the weight room and just everyone's state of mind going into the season. And then we had this incredible season, and it's just so many close games where it came down to a field goal, and just so many opportunities where I just have to shoot my craft and be ready. So there's just so many things like that where I had to, be ready to kick a field goal, make field goals when my team needed to, kick touchbacks when my team needed to, and all the above. So it was just an incredible year, and, you learn as you go, and definitely learned a lot from this past season.
Yeah, you had more than, over 50% kickoffs in your career were touchbacks. I mean, that's, for if you take a look at a lot of other college kickers, that's pretty unheard of. What has it taken for you to really make yourself into an elite kickoff into an elite kickoff specialist?
I take it just as seriously as I do field goals.
Yeah.
I think it's that important, and I practice. You can't practice kickoffs every day like you could field goals maybe. You only want to hit them maybe once or twice a week. So when you hit them, you got to make sure you're doing everything right and all the above. But I really do a lot of dry runs and practice kicks and stuff like that. Just anything that's going to have muscle memory and any use towards when I get in the game. All that's out the window, and I just got to trust in my ability. So it's one of those deals where I work at it really hard and try to protect it.
Now, you had the chance to kick in some big games, not just this year, but throughout your career in the SEC. For example, this year you had the longest field goal in SEC title game history, 52-yarder against Mizzou. And, what kicks stand out to you when you look back, and how did playing in the SEC environment each week really help you improve as a kicker?
Missouri kicker's obviously a good kick for me. I had some pretty decently far kicks throughout my career. Nothing in the 60s or nothing like that. But there's some kicks here and there that I'd love to have back that you miss, and then there's kicks that I clearly remember making 47-yarder from Mississippi State, had 3 field goals. So there's games like that stick out. But I think playing in the SEC, it doesn't get any more high pressure, and we're playing in front of. Technically I guess we're playing in front of more fans than most NFL teams. So, if there's any kind of conference in college to get you ready for the next level of the NFL, then I think it's definitely the SEC.
You mentioned the NFL. Now your career at Auburn is wrapped up. You've got your degree in communications, and you're preparing for that next step and that chance in the NFL. Can you describe? I mean, everybody's process is a little bit different based on position and based on location, where you're at in the country training. And can you describe what the process has been like for you? And is it similar to what you expected?
I think it is, yeah. And fortunately, I have so many friends of mine that kicking throughout the years that have made it to the NFL and I've been there. So I've gotten advice through all of them, and obviously through Jamie Kohl and just people like that help me along the way, kind of understand what's going to happen. So it's just my job to stay ready. The team wants to see what I got. I got to be able to perform on the spot and just stuff like that. So it's definitely what I expected. I expected it to be a long journey, but in the long run, I hope it's going to be worth it.
That's great. Now, another unique experience that you had was the Senior Bowl. You were selected for that, and you were named the most outstanding specialist during the week for practices. What really stood out to you most about that week, and what will you take from that experience as you head into the NFL?
I think the most important thing for me was just learning how they do it in the NFL in terms of practice. It's a little different than what we do at college, but just kind of adjusted pretty easily. I kicked well. I think everything went good. It wasn't too much different than what we do in college, but there was some little things, obviously, just throughout practice. And I think the fact that we only had one field, so we didn't really have too much time to kick. So you got to figure out other stuff to do, like try runs and things of that nature to fill the time and help you get better.
Now another guy that graduated with you and you've had the chance to work with him a little bit, obviously, and go through the process with him is Stephen Clark. What's it been like to have your specialist mate from Auburn, from college, kind of going through the same things you're going through as you get ready for the league?
Well, it's awesome because we've been real close since we've been here, and just have someone to come out with every day and motivate you to get better. Steven's an incredible punter, and I think he's top of the line, not only in football but just as a person. So it's just been really fun to work with him, and just go through this journey. That's one last time with him, so it's been awesome, and I wish him the best.
Now, you've been involved for years with Kohl's Kicking. I know Jamie had the chance to even work with you guys down at the Senior Bowl. How has the work that you've been able to put in with Kohl's Kicking over the years really helped you develop into an NFL prospect?
I think it's helped tremendously because it's one of those deals where, if I'm not kicking right or something just feels off and maybe I can't pick up on it, call up Jamie and he'll kind of go through it with me and I'll be like, oh, that makes sense. Go the next day and boom, I'm back. Just little things like that because I think if you make it to college, obviously you have a pretty good understanding of, good form and things of that nature. So Jamie's there just along the way to, give you confidence, give you some great motivation and just tips that'll help you have a successful career.
Now, Cody, we're under 50 days away from the NFL draft. What will you be focusing your training on as you lead up to draft day and hopefully into NFL camp later this year?
Obviously, field goal accuracy is going to be huge. I feel like my leg is pretty good in terms of compared to other guys. My kickoffs are pretty good. So my biggest thing right now is just critiquing my craft. I can always get better. If I'm the best kicker in the world by some guy's standards, I'm always gonna think someone's gonna outbeat me. So I try to have that mindset every day when I go out to kick and just try to compete every single day. No days off and just get after it.
Cody, thank you for your time. Best of luck to you as you continue your training for the next level.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Be sure to check out KohlsKicking.com for the upcoming schedule of lessons, camps, and showcases from now until July 20th. A 3-day one-on-one spring break camp in Los Angeles is coming up on April 13th, and the National Spring Showcases in Chicago, New Jersey, Dallas, and Los Angeles are just over a month away. Head over to KohlsKicking.com, click on the camp dates and locations page, and find out where and when you can get better as a kicker, punter, or snapper. My second guest is also a former Auburn Tiger. He is the school's first Ray Guy Award finalist as a sophomore in 2011. During his career, only 22 of his 207 career punts were returned, and this past season he had a 58-yard career long in the national championship game, as well as 2 down to the 1-yard line in Auburn's memorable Iron Bowl victory over Alabama. He's the 6'5", 230-pounder from Kansas City, Missouri. Stephen Clark, he joins me now. Stephen, how's it going?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I asked Cody this earlier. I'd like to hear your answer as well. Because Auburn had such a magical year, and you yourself individually had a tremendous season, 42.6 yards punt average. Only 5 punts were returned all year. What specific things will you take away from your senior year, both individually and as a member of quite the team that you guys had in 2013?
Oh yeah, I mean it was definitely a special year to be a part of, and I mean it was definitely really cool, just probably to know that was my last year here at Auburn, and I mean it's been a great 4 years for me, and I mean I've loved every minute of it, and I mean the year before, I mean to come back from the season like that, I mean it's a really special thing to be a part of, just to see the difference between the 2 years, and then when I came into Auburn, the whole national championship and stuff. I mean, I've seen it all, the good, the bad, and ugly. So I mean, it's been pretty incredible.
Now, having the chance to punt in some of the biggest games, I mean, you're in the SEC championship, the national championship, and throughout your career, I mean, the SEC is the premier conference in college football. Not many specialists can boast about that experience, especially when they're trying to transition into the NFL environment. How did playing in the SEC each week help you improve as a punter throughout your career?
I mean, it's definitely something that, I mean, you don't take for granted, just going out there and punting. It's not like you can just go out there and, drop 50-yard bombs with low hang time. I mean, you got to be really particular as far as the coverage of the punts and making sure you're hitting your field zones and stuff in order to limit the returners. I mean, for example, my freshman year, I remember I punted against Kentucky was my first game, and I mean, Randall Cobb now was returning punts for Green Bay, and then like LSU, I played them that year too, and that was Patrick Peterson. So I mean, there's guys coming out like that every year. I mean, I'm sure there's some guys we played this season that are going to be, making big plays in the NFL as well. And I mean, just knowing, that I played in a conference like that is definitely something that, is very special to me, and I feel very blessed, to be in that position to be able to say that.
Now that your career at Auburn's wrapped up, you've got your degree in exercise science under your belt, and you've been preparing for the next step and that chance to play in the NFL. Can you describe what the process has been like for you, and has it been similar to kind of what you expected?
Not exactly. It's been a whirlwind, to say the least. I didn't really have any expectations per se. I knew it was going to be pretty crazy because it seems like every new step in my life, it's always something I got to get used to. But, I mean, I've always just, knew God had a plan for me, and I'm just I seem to be going from workout to workout right now pretty nonstop, just trying to, get some exposure out there and, trying to make it to the next level and show the special teams coaches, what I'm capable of. And, I mean, kind of in the midst of that, I mean, I have some things I'm trying to spend time to, be able to get back and work and focus on some technical issues and, just trying to, perfect my craft. And it's hard to kind of balance the time, from I got, workouts and with, the teams and then personal workouts in the weight room, and then you got to practice and work on your technique. And then I'm also trying to finish up my master's. And so, I mean, it's just been pretty nonstop ever since we got back from the national championship. And I mean, I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
That's interesting. That's great. Now when you look at Stephen Clark, the first thing that jumps off the page is your frame. You're 6'5", 230 pounds. Is that something that when you talk with special teams coaches and you talk with people in the NFL and people that are trying to publicize you, is that something that you tell coaches like, hey, I'm a big guy and I can generate quite a bit of power with my leg?
I mean, it's not like a main topic, but
yeah.
I mean, logically, the longer levers, I mean, you can get a little more on the football, but I mean, it's a little more to control and stuff, and so I mean, it's something you got to work at. Everything has their positives and negatives, but I mean, punting's it's a pretty unique task, and I mean, there's a lot of 6'5", 230 pounders at the next level, and I'm just trying to be the one that punts the football. So I mean, I'm by no means as big and as strong as a lot of the other guys. I'm just trying to punt better than they do. So that's my goal.
That's a good goal to have. Interesting. I wanted to ask you about the NFL Combine. It seems like the media popularizes the 40-yard dash. All the other events, mainly the running, the lifting, and all that stuff. But it's unique. Sometimes I think people will forget that kickers and punters are there as well. What was that experience like, and what did you gain from it?
It is definitely it is a very cool experience. I mean, they take a lot of time, to put all that stuff together and get everybody in there. And I mean, you can tell it's a pretty big deal as soon as you get there. And I mean, I think the biggest thing is that you just kind of, you're around all the, top prospects of your class. And I mean, you got guys that, I was fortunate enough to, be able to see all Big Greg and Trey Mason and all those guys there, and Chris Davis, and a lot of guys. Got to meet a lot of people as well, and got to meet other specialists, across the nation. I mean, a lot of these guys, I'll probably see again one day, and it's just it's a cool deal, to meet people. You get to meet a lot of the coaches, and just kind of get used to talking to everybody.
You had another experience like that with the East-West Shrine game. How was that different from the combine in the amount of exposure you were able to get, and what type of work you were able to put in during that week?
For me, it's a little different, I feel like, than a lot of the other people, because I literally left 4 days after we got back from California to go to that.
Wow.
And so, I mean, I kind of went in, I felt a little unprepared, but I mean, it's still, my job doesn't change a whole lot. I just got to go out there and kick a football. So I try not to, think about it too much and just go out there and, see what I can do. And, I mean, it was pretty much the same deal. I mean, it was the first, it's kind of a good way to get my feet wet, for the combine and with the whole interview process and, talking to teams and whatnot. And, also be able to meet some players and, make some new friends.
Now, you've worked with Kohl's Kicking for 5 years, and I know that it's been nice for you, I'm sure, to have the guy that you're practicing with on a daily basis for 4 years, Cody Parkey, working alongside you. What has it been like to put in that work, both with Cody and with Kohl's Kicking over the years, and now it's helped you develop into an NFL prospect?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of appreciation for what Jamie Kohl has done for me personally, just because of the fact that, coming out of high school, I really wasn't that highly recruited, and until I went to his camp right before my senior season, and then I really feel that was a huge part of my ability to get a scholarship here at Auburn, and I haven't looked back since then, and I've always kept in contact with Jamie, and Thomas Morstead was actually my group leader there at the national camp, and so I've kept in touch with him, and it helped me grow a lot through college. Whenever I have questions or with the recruiting process or even this NFL draft process, I've kept in touch with Jamie, and just pick his brain every once in a while, and be able to get out there to his camps and work with him and everything. It's something that I plan to continue to do here for a long time.
That's great. Now we're under 50 days away from the NFL draft, and camps are going to be opening up just around the corner. What are the things that what specific things are you most looking to get done in your training as the NFL draft draws closer?
Yeah, I think the frustrating thing about punting is you'll hit a good one and then you come back with a bad one, and it's easier to digest whenever you're just doing badly, because it's
sure.
You don't know what you can do, but it's frustrating just because you know how good you can do. And I think that's the hardest part whenever you're out practicing, especially at this point. I know what I'm capable of, and so you'd be able to really feel like I've gotten better, even though that I've don't really feel like I'm there yet. Is definitely something I'm working on now. It's just because I know I'm getting better each time I get out there, and I'm working on some technical things and just trying to get more consistent. And it's paying off, and I can see I'm getting better. It's just I'm impatient.
All right, well,
everybody else.
All right, Stephen. Well, I thank you for being patient with me, and I hope that your training goes great, and best of luck to you. Hopefully at the next level.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate it. It's good talking to you.
All right, thanks, Stephen, a lot.